Hello!
Hello!
And welcome to Project Mosquito.
In this episode we're going to be finishing our prototype Mosquito door hinges.
It looks like a car and it feels car-shaped.
It does actually feel like you're in a proper special place.
In the last video, we made the doors go up, which is awesome. But in doing so, we chopped the top of the hinge down. And that means that the bottom of our hinge is super stiff. And the top of our hinge is the exact opposite of that because there's absolutely nothing holding it together or stopping it bending. So when we were messing around with it for half an hour, because let's face it, you make butterfly doors, first thing you're gonna do is stand there for half an hour opening and closing the door. The hinge bent at the top. And so the door no longer lines up. So we need to bend our hinge back into shape. We need to weld a support in the top, similar to how there is in the bottom. We want to put a bolt through. There's a few different mods we want to do because it's a lot easier to modify this than our final hinge. Obviously, if you're going to modify something, modify your prototype, get your prototype as close as you can to the finished unit. And then when we make our finished unit, it'll work first time. That's the theory. So let's put it into practice, shall we? And the other thing is that the body no longer fits because of our T-piece. Because we moved the T-piece, the body no longer sits down on the car, and so we need to sort that out as well.
Yeah, we need to chop a little piece out.
It's easy done, but it needs doing, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Oh no, understeer. So first things first, shall we make the body fit?
Yeah. Yeah, because the door is not attached to anything, is it?
No.
It is only a tiny little slot, it's only about 6mm.
And as you can see from the light coming through the doors, there ain't any. Winter has arrived. Well, autumn.
Autumn's arrived with a rather damp squib.
Yeah. It'll do for now.
Yeah. So I've delved into our scrap box, and this is an innard from the original GTM door. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pinch a bit, chop it down, so we can use it on our prototype. Then we're not wasting anything that we can use later.
It's the inner door reinforcement, that, isn't it?
Yeah. What we need to do now is we've got our distance between here and our hinge centre pin. So what we need to do now is remove these two bits of threaded bar, extend this piece up here, and then bolt the door directly to the hinge. There we go.
I got it. What size hole is this piece of tube? Internal diameter?
13mm.
13mm.
You're always going to have that little bit of slop in it.
The tube we've used for our hinge mock-up is a 13mm interior diameter. It's nothing we chose, it's just a bit of scrap off there that just happened to be 13mm. I think it's part of an old jack handle from a little tiny bottle jack. And our bolt that we're using is 12mm. And so to make up the difference, I've made a little tiny cardboard sabot. which is the technical term for that. A sabot is a cardboard sleeve or a paper sleeve that was used for cannonballs. Did you know that, Dad? Mm-hmm. Yeah. To make up the difference between the size of a cannonball and the size of a cannon.
Yeah, because it was very difficult to make cannonballs all the same size. Whereas you can make like a modern rifle or a modern bullet, the machine perfectly.
Yeah.
To fit in the bore of the gun to allow expansion and everything else.
Yep. Because cannons obviously get, the hole in a cannon gets bigger as it heats up. And yeah, don't advise doing that, but it's all right for a mock-up hinge.
It basically stops blow-by.
Yeah, because you don't want a low compression cannon, do you?
No. That kind of a defeated object, that, isn't it?
In fact, who was it? Who invented the micrometer? Was it Whitworth?
Yeah.
Yeah, until Whitworth developed the micrometer, there was no way to make every single cannon the exact same bore size. And it made a massive leap forward in steam engines and guns and all sorts. And it's one of the miracles of the Industrial Revolution.
Yeah, and it's not mentioned either, really. A Whitworth thread isn't really used anymore because it was a very basic thread and very coarse. But that was because of the materials he had to use.
Whitworth invented standardisation and the ability to just go to a shop, buy a bolt, and then the bolt fit the thing. Because every single manufacturer had their own bolt standards. Yeah, last week we didn't weld this to the tube. And so there's quite a lot of leverage on this, and obviously the top's missing completely. And so there was no stiffness in it at all. So as soon as we started messing around, it bent slightly.
Just welded a little gusset on the bottom just to take a little bit of the flex out of the bottom end. And obviously this is still our template, so and the stiffer we can get it, the better in position it will be to do the final measurements, so we can get our proper hinge exactly right first time.
Do we not have any long 12mm bolts?
I nicked this one from the back engine mount.
That was bad. Too tight, or is it all right?
That's all right, that.
We've got so much room here. We can actually bring the bottom cam shape out by a good 10-15mm. There's not much room at the top, there's still 5mm. It's really tempting when you get your geometry kind of right for the first time ever to want to rush it and rush straight to a finished thing, right? But actually, it's then you've kind of got to stop, take a breath, and go back to your prototype and get your prototype really as good as you can get it. I learned that with our shifter, because with the shifter we kind of got it close. And Dad's like, no, let's just see if we can get it that little bit better, that little bit better. You know, we did it with a bump steer as well.
Yeah.
We got it as good as we could get it. Then we had a break, came back, and got it damn near zero. It's a bit out. It's a bit out at the top of it now.
Yeah, what I need to do is move the whole hinge this way, and then bend that back round. That's a lot better. Yeah, I can go way back there, look.
Yeah.
That makes up for this thickness then.
Yep. Just lift it vertical. There. It is a bit tight. Earlier on, when Dad started making the bracket, he looked at the threaded rod and he went, the threaded rod runs downhill a bit here. I'll make it straight and then we can adjust it afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah? And we completely forgot that it runs downhill so that it takes advantage of the lift. So it runs to the bottom of our hinge. So when this strap has been welded on, it's straight and nowhere near this bottom bit, I don't know if you can see that, so that when you lift the door up, here, this bit, it doesn't take advantage of any of the bottom of our hinge here, which is all the lift. And so when we've opened our door, it opens loads better than it did, but it doesn't lift like it did. And so it lifts wrong. And we're scratching our head thinking, what have we done here? What's wrong? Why have we... Yeah, it's because we made it wrong. Yeah, it's almost, but it's just not right, is it? It's at this point in the video I'd like to say a huge thank you to all of our Patreon supporters, without whom we would struggle to make these videos and spend so much time in the workshop every single week making videos for you all to enjoy. So I'd like to say a huge thank you to our qualifying slicks and slicks, and the qualifying slicks go first because they get their name on a plaque on the finished Mosquito. So I'd like to say a huge thank you to Neil Fuller, Derek Green and Steve Shriefer. And our slicks, Alex Bottomley, Jamie Dowden, David Flaherty, Old Goat, Robert Millwood, Logan Pillsbury, Rob Podmore, Liam Quinn, Darryl Rowe, Tim Ritchie, Mike Sadke, Joe Triplett and Andy Wood.
Yes, thank you very much, guys. We really, really appreciate all your help. Thank you.
Yeah, massive. And if you're interested in joining our Patreon and getting an extra video from us in your week, as well as spoiler photos and stuff, and maybe even a shout out mid-video, then check out the link in the description or patreon.com/oliverpickard. And thank you.
Yes, thank you so much.
Nope. Something's gone terribly wrong. Right, go on, just swing door out. Nope. It instantly bends it, yeah? Yeah, it's on an angle.
Yeah.
The actual, this mid plate is on an angle like that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so when it's lifting, it's doing that, yeah? Rather than, who'd have thought that having that straighter angle would make such a big difference? Makes sense, doesn't it? Because it's lifting and twisting.
So it's lifting from centre there rather than from edge.
Yeah. This is why we're doing this now. If at first you don't succeed, or if at first you succeed, take it all apart and then fail loads, and then you can learn in all the ways how lucky you were just to get it right first time.
A tiny bit more.
Yeah.
It is a tiny bit as well.
You were looking on YouTube the other day, weren't you? And you said that nobody's fit butterfly doors to anything.
I can't find a video anywhere where somebody's fit butterfly doors. There's tons of Lambo doors ones.
Yeah.
You know, from everything from
Ford Explorer, Hummers, all sorts.
all sorts, yeah.
Toyota 86s.
But nobody, as far as I can tell, unless you know better, has done butterfly doors apart from main manufacturers such as
the new Bugatti, Tourbillon has them, Toyota Serra, McLaren F1, McLaren 720.
And we know now why.
Maserati. Yeah, it's really hard.
Because it's really difficult. One of the problems we have is the bodywork we have isn't designed to do what we want it to do.
No.
You know, like...
in any context, in any way.
Like the top of the door in a Lamborghini is part of the roof. So when it lifts up, it just lifts straight up. It doesn't need to come out and go up.
But one of the things about a lot of cars that have butterfly doors, they have part of the roof in the door, and the reason is that the original GT40s have also part of the roof as part of the door. In fact, that was what's his chops? Famous driver of
Ken
Miles. Right, Ken Miles. It happens on the film of Ford versus Ferrari. Nobody explains it, right? And he can't get his door shut on that first lap, and he has to pull in, and they slam it, right? That's because it got deformed, and the door got stuck up. and basically had to drive for the rest of the 24 hours with his door misaligned, because if your door sags for whatever reason, it catches the roof on a normal door if you have part of that roof. And butterfly doors were developed so that you could just dump yourself in and everything lifts away, which is basically what we're using it for. The door gets away, everything gets away. Okay, our window is curved, so it's not quite the same as having part of your roof, but we're doing it for the same reasons. And cars like a Porsche 917 has the top link of the window that is part of your roof when you open your door is actually the little ball joint from an automatic gearbox selector shaft. You know, when you put it in park or whatever, there's a little shaft that runs along your gearbox and a little tiny ball joint. It's literally one of those, and that stops the roof misaligning so that when you close the door, everything falls back into place properly. But that's why butterfly doors were invented, unlike Lamborghini doors, which were invented so that because your car's so wide and you can't see out back of a Diablo, you could hang your head out when you reverse backwards and not kind of get your door taken off by traffic. So yeah, butterfly doors are made for a completely different reason, really, than Lambo doors, just so that you can dump yourself in. Get little long gangly limbs and all.
It's a lot easier to make a gated quick shifter for a Honda, right? From scratch than it is to make these door hinges.
Yes. Yeah, being understated and British, we tend to kind of downplay stuff, especially when stuff's hard and difficult, which we shouldn't do because YouTube loves a bit of drama. But we're not very dramatic people, are we? But doing this, like these butterfly doors, is properly difficult. Yeah, and last week I was properly pulling my hair out doing it. There's a reason why there were only a few shots of me doing the cardboard template. And that's because I said to Miriam, look, I need quiet. I just need you to like leave me to do it, because I've got to wrap my head around this and it's really hard. And not all butterfly doors are born equal as well. There's a few different ways of doing it. The two easiest ways, the most easiest, is to have a big arm inside your car that just swings out, isn't it?
Yep.
That's by far the easiest, but obviously we don't have room for that. The other easiest way of doing it is to run a rod down your A-pillar all the way down and have a door that cuts into your front a really long way, and then just literally hinge it off that rod. That's the way that BMW did it when they made that hybrid thing. Doing it like this is by far the hardest way. Yeah. And I think there's a reason why only now we've got two, like the McLaren 720 and the Maserati, that have done it this way when it's external mounted and small.
You've got to think that Toyota did it with the Serra, but they haven't done it since.
No, but it's this A-pillar mounted thing as well. It's a lot simpler doing than this. The reason why McLaren and Maserati did it like this is because they've both got carbon chassis, and so their carbon tub allows them to cut the roof off without redesigning the chassis and adding a load of extra material and strengtheners. And so they designed their door hinges so they could chop the roof off and not redesign the door hinges, which is very clever. Yeah. We did it because path of most resistance, but it gives us the best door opening to be able to just chuck ourselves in. The nice thing that we have that Maserati doesn't is the factory door opening on a GTM, which is one of the things that we are keeping, means that our doors don't swing out a really long way when we open them. Yeah. Which you don't get on a Maserati MC20. Yep. You've got to have quite a wide parking spot to get out of an MC20.
Yeah, because if you go back to the video, not the last video, but the one quite a while ago, where we started doing the doors, we actually measured how far out the doors come. Yeah. And by far and away, the butterfly hinges came out the least farthest and were the easiest to get into.
Yeah, that's why we're doing it, really. So, door on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll leave a link to that video again at the end of this one. Because I like that video, even though we kind of ended up
getting defeated.
No, we didn't get defeated, but we ended up with the wrong idea. and we ended up chasing a bad idea, which is my fault. Hot.
You all right?
Yeah, just slightly welded. Right, worst time I've ever burnt myself welded. You were making a cage for a life raft. One of those automatically opening buoyant life rafts. And I was doing another job. And I'm just walking past and Dad goes, "Yeah, come and hold this for me a second," right? And I went over and I leant and I'm holding it for Dad while he's TIG welding it. And I thought, I can smell bacon. That's weird. And all of a sudden I realised that my shin is right against a brand new fresh TIG weld where Dad's been TIG welding like really thick stainless steel, and it's melted straight through my shin and it's literally cooking my shin. And as you can imagine, I said, "Oh dear, oh heck," and jumped away quickly. We need to stiffen up this top like we said we were going to at the beginning of the video. We just didn't do it till now because we needed everything else in place. But basically when you're trying to open the door, it's just bending. This is just a spring, isn't it?
Yep.
So it needs a top on it. You want the top of that? Yeah?
Yep.
Top of that. Down here. Up there. Sorry, I've got dead fingers. You know what's going to happen, don't you? By the time we've finished doing this, we'll be able to make butterfly doors in our sleep, and then we'll never do it ever again.
Yay!
Kind of. Runs into it at the top there. We still out by a bit.
Yeah, well, that's a massive big rivet.
Yeah, no, but we are still out by a bit. It didn't used to do that. It's just off by a tiny bit.
Yeah, I don't think we're not going to get that until we make the proper brackets, because there's no way I can make it rigid enough.
It needs more lift as well.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, that's all we've got time for in this episode.
I'm still not happy, to be honest. It's very, very, very frustrating, but this just shows how hard this is. We came in here and it's a damn good job we've done this, really. Because if we'd have used the geometry from the bent bracket to make our final hinges, our final hinges would have been wrong.
Yep.
If we want to come in here to try to test, I mean, it's still not quite right. This pivot is still too far away from the body. And you can see that when you open the door, there's just slightly too much of a gap the angle's right, but the distance from the chassis is wrong.
Yep.
Yeah, and we can sort that out, but we've just run out of time. We've run out of daylight.
No, we've been up since 5 o'clock.
And yeah, but it's not about that. It's just you can only work for so long, and once you get tired, like that's when accidents happen.
Yeah.
And so that's all we've got time for today. But we can fix it. We know what's wrong. We know what the problem is, and this is great stuff because it means that when we make our final hinges, they'll work because we know
exactly what to do. Yeah.
What's required. When it's 2 bits of threaded bar and an angle bracket and all that, you can't really take measurements from that because it's like plus or minus 3-4 mil. As we've taken all the flex out of it, we've just found every single one of our problems.
As it tightens up just slightly to the right angle.
And I want to be able to put the front end on, open the doors, and have this part of the hinge wrapped round the front end, and so we know where we're going.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're not there yet, but we will get there. And so please join us in the next episode where we shall triumph. But every time we do this, we make a door hinge and then we test it and then it just doesn't work, and then we find out problems with it. But eventually we'll get there. And thank you for persevering, and a huge thank you to our Patreon supporters for sticking with us and being amazing.
Leave us a comment. Tell us where you think we're going wrong.
Thank you all for watching. Please be awesome to each other, and we'll see you all in the next episode.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.